Thank you for joining me once again. And obviously you are here for the OVAs of Gabriel Dropout. Now, I have been slightly forewarned, might be the wrong word, but let's stick with it for now, that the two OVAs are vastly different from each other. That's all I really know, and I'm curious and slightly anxious. I'm really not sure what OVAs about Gabriel Dropout can really include, because it's mostly just going to be antics that happen in between the characters. So really, there's no point of me pontificating, so let's get straight into it. Starting strong with Satanya. Oh no, she's ordered something else, hasn't she? Are we finally going to see a plan come to fruition and actually work? Oh dear. Well, we saw what happened last time, that Satanya bought something off of her demon shopping channel with the laughing weapon. I'm not sure I want to say what it was because of YouTube's censoring policies at the minute. I did enjoy Gabriel Dropout during its running, just as a silly kind of side thing to wind down whenever I don't want to take the world too seriously, which is getting more and more often. But anyway, I'm not sure exactly what OVAs is going to do differently from a normal episode, as I've already stated, so it can go basically anywhere. Oh, this is where it's going. Is it going to be a reoccurrence of the beach trip they went on? And is that all Satanya's luggage there, or... Ah, yes. Of course, she's brought a lot in to help with her devil tactics. Poor Satanya. I'm saying that now. You would be right. You would be right. You would be right. Anything that... These aren't exactly devilish games, are they? Maybe on a train, yeah. Yeah. Much rather than put up with Satanya's ideas for the entire trip. I would like to go to a traditional style place once in once in a while, or at least once. I mean, you've basically just confirmed that you've got something planned there. Because she's your friend. Don't get the wrong idea. Due to being... Well, she's dejected, isn't she? Oh, I'll play you for it. Is that what's going on? Yeah. Does Satanya even know how to play table tennis? Is it just going to be a reoccurrence of the shogi incident? On paper, it's not a bad plan for Satanya. How did she... Oh, it just cuts out the game. Who told her those rules? And this time, how is she going to lose? Is it going to be a fair game? No. Someday I won't be amused by seeing Satanya so utterly defeated. Doesn't look too bad for fictional food. Okay. It's like they're trying to justify stuff to sponsors, and isn't it? Oh, now that I've let you share my food, and you gotta come to the onsen with me. That's her plan. If she doesn't kill her first. One way to escape, I guess. At least she can whistle. That didn't take long. I haven't heard of that. Okay, yeah, what else to be expected from Gabriel? But I haven't heard of that adage before. It depends on the size of the meal, but... I mean, it's kind of funny that they're doing an Onsen episode without actually going to an Onsen. Oh. The pity route. She's too confident, even with the divine light. So Satanya's the only one protected by devil light there. Was Vinette sent to the wrong place by accident when she was born? What are you doing? Of course, it can't be graceful. Using the moon as a backdrop for your speech. To be fair, she would be doing a lot of apologising, wouldn't she? Well, she was meant to hit. I am, I think, suitably worried. Oh no. She's summoning a monster. I wonder what can go wrong. Not exactly terrifying. Ah, they're kids' pets, essentially. And yeah, Zatanna is its first and maybe only victim. They're stupid. Ref couldn't even contain her laughter this time. Huh? Don't take pictures. At least Vignette tried to help. And that was the end of Zatanna. Classic trope. Try to run away, fall over. Well, I guess if anyone is to be subjected to this kind of treatment, it's only fair. Why is she smiling? Oh, of course, because... And why was Gabriel spared? Oh, that's the joke it was trying to make. Once again, classic. I say classic in a bad-ish kind of overplayed sense. As long as they didn't leave her to drown in there, it's fine. Hopefully... Oh. That might be the end of Zatanna then. Unless she's got a very good constitution. But, to be fair, after the amount of damage she's sustained over the course of this show, this is just another daily occurrence for her. Not particularly. This episode didn't really do anything spectacular, did it? Other than just, highlights Zatanna's ineptitude. Quite rightly highlighting her ineptitude, but... Why are they still allowing her to shop on that network? Why is no one else in control of her money? And of course, straight on to the second OVA. So not quite as jovial as the first one. Huh? Are you trying to insinuate that... And better not go down that route. Yes, of course. Yeah, it's not because she's trying to control her laughter. Well, she got hold of it, but the dog took the bread. She's blind. Huh? How exactly would she know? I mean, sure, blind people have apparently heightened senses and whatnot in other areas. If you're going to go down that route of classical storytelling, but they didn't do anything particularly angelic or demonic so far. And did she really get Satania confused with an angel during this, or is she relegated to the background once again? And it's probably sad to say that at this point, Vignette is probably, apart from being an actual demon, one of the most angelic of the group. I'm sorry to say this, but are you blind? Okay, so like partial. And straight to that. Well, at least she had an idea of why. What great dialogue. Although it is kind of realistic. Called it. So is this storyline going to revolve around that blind girl? Satania's going to be surprisingly caring about this, isn't she? I mean, we saw him when she was with the dog. In words, yes. Mostly. And would Satania actually feel good about making someone not fully bodied but able-bodied a a servant familiar. But again, that's a bit condescending of me to say, isn't it? They've all came to bring her gifts. Yeah, you haven't really done anything to earn it. Well, she's also included in this. It's surprising how the dog knew that the manna bread wasn't for Satania, so didn't attack it. Okay. So, I was going to say, if they didn't bring up surgery, then the gift that the title alluded to was going to be they were going to give her sight or something. I never understand that. You're just doing it yourself, aren't you? Why are you alluding to a divine being? Mm-hmm. More than likely, you'll see quite a lot of all of them. Are you going to pick that up? If she wasn't being watched. Of course, keep telling yourself that, Satania. And keep telling yourself that as well. That's quite the diversion, yes. Why don't they do that more often? Of course, other than the physical assault. I'm sure they've got connections to get stuff done, like when Raph called in to change the weather. Well, she actually wants the success here rather than just the amusement. Another one. Oh, the dog came and gave it back. Fair enough. No, it was the dog. Satana didn't get her anything. You see, it's more than just the gifts there, it's the thought behind it. And Gabriel taking the brunt of the wind and the cold there probably meant more than the melon bread. Of course, and how much of it is actually gonna be shared? Hell no. Okay. Didn't see that coming. And now it's testing all of them and how much they, actually cared about everything. That's gonna hit Gab actually really hard, isn't it? But it's not like no one's interfered in the past if you actually read your bloody scripture. I agree. Although if you were Archdemon, this kind of act would make everyone under you question your motives. I wasn't expecting it to. I get what they mean by it's vastly different. Gabrielle. She doesn't care about restrictions. She does what she thinks is right. So what are we going to see from her? To be fair, as an ending kind of weak, wasn't too bad. Oh, I don't care enough to actually get you the whole way there. I'm going to do something else. She's going to make the medical marvel that is modern medicine successful. Oh, fuck. Not only did she break the rules and interfere, but she fixed her eyes as well. Of course, the one that isn't going to hide the feelings is going to be Sadanya. She didn't care. So why would she be constrained by the rules of heaven? And she's accepted the punishment as an equivalent exchange. Oh, only a month exchange for helping her. So you get your money taken away and a month of punishment for saving a life. I think that's more than fair. She got off very lightly. If that's the only kind of downside to it, then why are people dying? But now as she regained her sight, she can't see. Even if she isn't remembered. I'm sure Gabriel is going to be fine about it. She's a good girl. She can be as self-centered as she wants, but she's still altruistic about it. When she sees perceived injustice, that's when she steps in. And yet isn't past laying about and wasting her own life on games and insignificant things. Why do I relate to that? Obviously, it's a lot of people are going to say, oh, I relate to that, so whatever. There are two characters here who I don't want to relate to. But they're amusing nonetheless. And yeah, as a send-off for Gabriel Dropout, and a farewell to these characters, having them all have their spot in the limelight and showing that each of them are, well, they're good at heart. What more can you want? And so that was the end of Gabriel Dropout. As you know, there was a new show going to be opening up incredibly quickly, because that was the end. And if you want to get your say on what you want, link in the description to the Discord to hop on over, check out the voting tab, get yours cast if you haven't already. But if you're okay with just staying along for the ride, that's fine too. If you've enjoyed it, then like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I hope you did enjoy, because Gabriel Dropout is something that is just nice, isn't it? I think I stated at the beginning where you can just ignore pretty much everything that's going on, because it's all pretty consistent, and you can guess almost all of the plot that's going to happen. Then because the plot is centered around the character interactions, rather than actual intrinsic plot. And sometimes that's a good thing. And when you want to peek into someone else's life, and of course you don't care about people, so you go to anime because they're 2D, it would be a bit boring if it was too close to home. So of course the aspects which make this exaggerated is also what makes it stand out. If they had toned down the characters like 50%, it would be probably easier to relate to a lot of it, but it would also not be as... I don't think it would stand out as much and won't be as endearing. Because we love to hate each of them, because they are... The elements that make up the characters are stretched to a higher degree to bring out that extra level of comedy. But at the heart of it, they are just still people. And the scenes that we saw in this one where their world was rocked by the introduction of that blind girl and the events that unfolded. Is that what they come to Earth to learn? A bit of empathy and everything else doesn't go amiss. And definitely what stood out the most, and it's pretty intentional that it would be that because Gabrielle didn't agree that how the restrictions being put on them due to heaven, she didn't agree with them. So she, being a fallen angel anyway, did what she thought was right. And for the most part, I congratulate her. I hold a little bit of reservation because 100%, it's not going to be 100% of the time that when you do act and because you see the injustice, that there is actually injustice. It's just So they're going to be those outliers. But I'm going to ignore that for now because this is a heartwarming story of kind of... It's not really redemption because she was always an angel and there was always the hint of care and how much she liked those around her. We can all put on acts and be self-centered and somewhat justified. And if you're someone that could ignore someone in trouble and walk off, let's make it easier. Make it a friend in trouble when you just walk away. Then you would have no ground to stand on when people don't help you. Just saying. It all comes around eventually. Well, there isn't some sort of cosmic justice, but we can pretend there is if it helps. So, thank you for watching the OVAs and finishing Gabriel Dropout with me. Get some rest. I'll see you in the next one.